And so it begins. Or does it end? Or both? Spawning in the top right position as the red Zerg player from Team Evil Geniuses, it is Jaedong. And he's batting up against the Quantic Zerg. Sporting the blue trunks, it is HyuN. For some reason, it's actually really weird to think about HyuN being blue now. I'm pretty sure he was red in the last series. That's why I'm so confuzzled. But no matter. Whirlwind, both players spawning vertically from each other. Doesn't really have too much of an impact. This ramp goes straight down, so it's like you can kind of follow it out. You can kind of follow this one up, sort of. I don't think it really affects the aggressive tendencies due to the size of the map. Some players will try to be aggressive simply based on how difficult it is to scout as a Zerg player. You have 2 Overlord scouts basically early on, and after that it's like, well, I don't know where you are. So it looks like HyuN will scout out Jaedong very quickly. And Jaedong will not scout out HyuN with his original Overlord, but I think when his Overlord sees how fast HyuN's when Jaedong's Overlord sees how fast HyuN's Overlord arrives, I think that's going to be a very clear indicator to him that's like, okay, well, if your Overlord got here this fast, it's probably your first one, which means you must be from the south position. So I think both players will know where each other spawn very, very soon. And both players are going for hatchery first, so they're not really scared or worried about any type of one-base cheese, as it were. And Jaedong, I'm pretty sure he sees his Overlord, yeah. So he has to know that HyuN spawned in the bottom right. And HyuN obviously knows that Jaedong is here in the top right. Very few successful proxy hatchery builds in the metagame for StarCraft 2. But there's spawning pool coming in. And Jaedong, gas pool. And HyuN, for the first time in a ZVZ today, I think, has actually built his spawning pool before his gas. So I'm wondering if this means HyuN is just going to pull something completely out of left field. Are we going to see HyuN just do a gasless style? I think if HyuN plays gasless and just tries to go for 2-base roach, that could be kind of cool. It could be kind of neat to see. It'll be the first time that we have that style employed today. But I guess we'll have to find out. Gas is still being mined by Jaedong. He has the pool coming in about halfway done. HyuN gets slightly faster queens. Even though both players went hatchery first, HyuN still gets a faster queen because he decided to open up with the pool. But Jaedong now starting his queens. HyuN needs to get that Overlord out of there. He's in a dangerous spot. There he goes. Speed's on the way. Gas still being mined. And HyuN, what does he do? My assumption is he just wants to keep droning up. Maybe use evolution chambers to wall off. He will need a fast creep tumor to block his natural expansion if he wants to ensure himself some level of safety. But that does remain to be seen. I like to see inject, walk away, and then use the queen to place a creep tumor instead of a second inject. It's probably the smartest way to do it. This way you can get the creep going, and once he gets the creep up, it'll be pretty easy to block this off with evolution chambers. In fact, he wants to bring these queens out to attack this Overlord. It's really weird to see how slow queens are and see them chasing super slow queens actually chasing Overlords off creep is just insane. But there's the creep tumor. Yeah, that's what I like. So HyuN wants to play gasless. Oftentimes, this style is picked for... Oh, actually, excuse me. I just want to quickly touch on this. Jaedong, is he going to produce only lings with this? He's got a fast evolution chamber, the +1 carapace. In my talks with players like Vibe and such, they say that the fast carapace is usually going to be used for some type of all-in so you're safe against banelings. But I'm wondering what this is going to do. I'm wondering what the plan is, because he's still producing some drones. He's taking another gas geyser. There is no baneling nest. This could be a mass speedling attack from Jaedong, which does have its niche, but I don't know if it's going to be... I don't know. It's weird. Since there's a Spinecrawler and Queens here already walling off, the speed for Jaedong is done, but there's nowhere to really run in. Double evolution chamber coming in with that roach warren mean that soon enough there'll be the ranged roaches, and choked up with the wall should be able to deal with Zerglings quite easily. So I like that Jaedong's decided, okay, screw this, I'm just gonna get the lair. Totally fine. I honestly, I mean, even that gas, I almost feel like I'd rather see that be used to get maybe +1 attack rather than carapace, but I guess it's whatever. He has the lair much faster than HyuN. But I like with the way that HyuN's set up, he will get both upgrades rather than just +1 Carapace. So with the way that this works, they'll both be 1-1 around the same time because HyuN has double upgrades going, and I actually think HyuN will have 1-1 just barely before Jaedong has his 1-1. Of course, Jaedong will have the Carapace first, but his +1 attack will be so late since he's on a single evolution chamber that by the time that finishes, the double evolution chambers will already have really done their work. So HyuN's later layer doesn't actually matter since he wants to time it with his upgrades and the production of this third base. If HyuN gets his third base up and gets a Spore Crawler on it, as long as he's safe versus Mutalisks, it doesn't really matter. But Jaedong's actually going to go into Roaches, which is a little bit interesting. I love the use of these Overlords. Rather than spending energy on the Queen to get a Creep Tumor, he uses the Overlords to spread creep. HyuN, we can see, decided he wanted to use Queen energy to put Overlords here. A couple of Zerglings somehow snuck their way in. I don't even know how those things, man. Those crazy, crazy kids. Queen taking some shots at this Overseer. A Changeling gets dropped into the mineral line, and HyuN picks it off. So no biggie. Overseer comes in. HyuN actually wants to keep his Overseers alive. He uses them crazily much so that he can get the Contaminates, and he actually has one of them picked off. Nice grab for Jaedong. These Overseers are a super huge pain when you're playing versus HyuN. But HyuN has his third base on the way. Jaedong's third base has already completed. It's basically just going to be Roach on Roach on Roach, which is fine. I think the game situation right now is so even that it doesn't really matter. But what the hell are HyuN's Queens doing? This must have been a mistake. I don't know. I think he wanted to go for an attack and just use the Queens to transfuse his Roaches, but that was a bit of a slip-up. Yeah. So like I was saying, this is a very small period of time where HyuN has a 1-1 upgrade set up, and there's only +1 Carapace for Jaedong, so this is a very small timing window. It's about as small as it gets. And what he wants to do is distract Jaedong's army with these Roaches at the front and let these Roaches at the third base get to work on the drones. This is a very smart maneuver from HyuN. He can even split off into the natural. And that's what he's going to do. This is so annoying to deal with because these 3 Roaches can go right back to work. HyuN is just getting all up in Jaedong's business right now. HyuN just needs to make sure he doesn't overextend. Yeah, he split off even more Roaches into the main base. He's got Roaches in the third. He is all over the place right now. HyuN is doing an incredibly ballsy maneuver with all of this splitting. If he overextends, he could lose the game pretty much immediately after do a big counterattack. Some of these Roaches are going to try to actually get away from here, but won't really be able to. No, HyuN just loses a bunch of Roaches for free now. That was a bit weird. He doesn't have enough energy for Contaminates, though. I'm kind of waiting to see that go down on the hatcheries. He almost has 2 Contaminates. And HyuN's just retreating now. Here comes that counterattack that I mentioned from Jaedong. Both players are at 1-1. HyuN has the 2-2 coming in, but let's look at the Roach count. It's 37 versus 25. Jaedong has a huge army supply advantage right now. And I say that as HyuN actually has, he's tying it up right now, but Jaedong pressing in. He's trying to bring some more pressure. We really see him just doing so much. These Roaches, how does HyuN always manage to sneak a Roach in somewhere? Like, I don't know. He's like the Houdini of Roaches. You don't know where the Roaches came from, but suddenly they're all over you and they're like in places you didn't want them to be. But I think what's really nice is this 2-2 for HyuN. He holds out long enough to get this 2-2 together. He's gonna be feeling so good about himself, especially considering that he's managed to get that Roach count much closer together between the two of these players. So Jaedong, oh, what did HyuN cancel his Carapace up? Oh, okay, it's being delayed. Very nice use of Contaminate from Jaedong, delaying the Carapace upgrade by a full 30 seconds. That Contaminate ability is like almost OP. It's so good. And it's funny to say OP because it's a mirror matchup, but it is really nice. He completely just killed a 2-2 timing there. He'd have to wait a whole extra 30 seconds before making a push. These Roaches are going to get swallowed alive, though. HyuN not going to take any losses to this Roach harass. And I love that HyuN just has these Overlords pooping creep randomly. Jaedong is not using his Overlords to spread creep too much, aside from between his bases, which is, I think, a very smart thing to do. But both players are kind of massing Roaches right now. That's really all I have to say. HyuN still has his Overseer perched. He has a Contaminate available. I'm kind of waiting to see him use it. He should probably, yeah, he's just going to contaminate that hatchery. Yep. Very smart. Use it whenever you can. There's literally no reason not to contaminate at every possible opportunity. Oh, he's going to contaminate the evolution chamber, delaying the +2 attack. Ooh. Very nice play. I do like that a lot. The roaches are getting in. HyuN's +2 attack is done, but the carapace actually got delayed again. So it's about a minute away now. HyuN's just going to push in. He's like, I got +2 attack. I can just kill you right now. Can he make it work? He's getting all up in Jaedong's business, but the Dong has quite a few roaches here. Jaedong managing to hold the supply lead just barely. Is it going to be enough? He has the army supply lead. Transfuses come in from HyuN, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Jaedong's going to manage to hold this assault off even without the upgrades. Very nice. HyuN's +2 carapace is going to finish, but at the same time, HyuN snuck roaches in from behind because that's what he does. Roaches try to hit the 4th phase of HyuN. No luck there. The really, really nice way he killed off the drones with that 3rd. He still has to be careful, though, because there's 122 army supply versus 78. HyuN, he has resources. He can produce a lot of roaches right now, but I don't actually know if he has the gas income to produce enough roaches that the amount that he needs. Using the burrow, trying to heal his own roaches. Jaedong is starting to storm across the field. HyuN, does he not have larva? I don't say he doesn't. Does he not have any larva? Because he is, he's not spending his money. Now he's starting to produce more roaches. This is very smart. I think he kind of hopes that Jaedong will continue to just throw roaches up ramps like this because it's probably his best chance at keeping a lead in this game. But now he's just going to press in. He's just saying, yeah, HyuN, I want you. I want your bod right now. And he's moving in. His +2 attack is just finished. HyuN does have that +2 carapace. Will it be enough to turn the tides of battle? I don't think so. But actually, his Concave's getting really good. The Queens as well with the transfuses. Jaedong's army, there might be a chance that he could swallow this, but he flanks from the side at the same time, and HyuN's roach count is just dwindling way too fast. I love that flank pulling the roaches to the side. It's just so good. And HyuN's continuing to put out the roaches. He does have a few drones here. There's the Contaminate, preventing additional units from being produced. And man, HyuN is in trouble now. That 3rd base will not stand much longer. All of the drones will be chewed up here at this base, well, it seems. HyuN's trying to put out more roaches, but the roaches that HyuN puts out can only deal with the reinforcements of Jaedong, as Jaedong doesn't really care about this hatchery since it was contaminated so long it wasn't actually producing any larvae. And now he's just going to press up into the ramp. If actually he kills that roach warren off, he's just not going to be able to build anything. That's it. All he's going to have access to is Zerglings, but there's the roach warren killed, and now it's just, that's it. GG from HyuN. Jaedong takes game number 1 here in the final match for the Daily Motion Cup Group B. Great play by Jaedong.